The morning started like any other Tuesday for Hyunwoo Kim. He sat in his small apartment in Seoul, drinking coffee and reading news on his tablet. At 42 years old, he had served 20 years in the South Korean military before retiring to work as a security consultant. The world felt peaceful that morning. Wars seemed like distant memories. Then the sky caught fire. At exactly 9:47 a.m. Seoul time, massive ships appeared above every major city on Earth. They were huge, each one the size of a mountain. Their dark metal hulls blocked out the sun. People stopped walking on the streets. They pointed up at the sky with shaking hands. Hyunwoo dropped his coffee cup. It broke on the floor, but he did not notice. He had seen many strange things in the military, but nothing like this. The ships were clearly not human. They hung in the air without making any sound. For 30 minutes, the ships just waited. Governments around the world tried to make contact. Radio signals were sent. Military jets flew close to the ships but got no response. The aliens stayed silent. Then they began to kill. The first beam of energy hit New York City. It came down from the sky like a column of white fire. Where it touched the ground, buildings turned to dust. 1 million people died in seconds. Then, London was hit. Then Tokyo. Then Moscow. Hyunwoo watched it happen on his tablet. The news showed the same terrible scene over and over. Cities that had stood for hundreds of years were gone. Just empty craters remained where millions of people had lived and worked and loved. The attack on Seoul came at 10:30 a.m. Hyunwoo was already running by then. His military training had kicked in the moment he saw New York disappear. He grabbed his emergency bag, something every good soldier keeps ready, and headed for the stairs. The elevator would be death if the building got hit. He was on the street when the beam came down. It struck the government district 3 miles away. The light was so bright it hurt his eyes even from that distance. The ground shook like an earthquake. Windows broke all around him. People screamed and ran in every direction. But Hyunwoo did not run randomly like the others. He had a plan. During his military service, he had studied Seoul's underground tunnels. The city had many hidden passages built during the war decades ago. Most people forgot about them, but soldiers remember everything. He knew where to go. As he moved through the panicking crowds, he saw something that made him stop. A young woman had fallen near a broken car. She was hurt and could not get up. Blood ran down her face. People ran past her without stopping. "Help me, please," she said. When she saw him looking, Hyunwoo could have kept running. Survival meant moving fast and not stopping for others. But that was not who he was. He had been a soldier to protect people, not to abandon them. He helped her stand up. "What is your name?" he asked. "Bora Park," she said. "I work at the Space Center. I study stars and planets. Can you walk?" She tried and nodded. "Yes, but where can we go? The whole city is burning." "I know a place," Hyunwoo said. "Stay close to me." As they moved through the destroyed streets, Bora asked, "Who are they? The aliens, I mean. What do they want?" "I do not know what they want," Hyunwoo said. "But I know what they are doing. This is not random destruction. Look at what they hit first. Government buildings, military bases, communication centers. They are trying to cut off our head." Bora looked around at the burning city. "It is working." "Maybe," Hyunwoo said. "But cutting off a head only works if the body dies too. Humans are not like that." They reached the entrance to the old tunnel system. It was hidden behind a food market that was now empty. Everyone had run away when the attack started. Hyunwoo moved some boxes and opened a metal door that most people thought was just storage. Inside, the tunnels were dark but safe. The thick concrete walls would protect them from more energy beams. They were not alone. Other people had found the tunnels too. About 50 men, women, and children sat in the darkness, scared and confused. Among them was Taemin Lee, a man Hyunwoo recognized from his military days. Taemin had been special forces, the kind of soldier who could fight behind enemy lines. He looked calm even though the world was ending above them. "Kim Hyunwoo," Taemin said. "I thought that was you. Still thinking like a soldier, I see." "Someone has to," Hyunwoo replied. "What do you think?" This is not over, is it? Taman shook his head. This is just the beginning. They hit us hard and fast to break our spirit. Next, they will land troops to control what is left. An older man near them started crying. My family was in the government district, he said. They are all dead. Everyone is dead. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. Not everyone. We are alive. And if we are alive, we can fight back. Fight? The man laughed bitterly. Did you see those ships? Did you see what their weapons can do? We might as well fight the sun. Bora spoke up. I have studied space for 15 years, she said. I know about technology and physics. Those ships are advanced, yes, but they are still machines. Machines can be broken. She is right, Taman said. Everything can be killed, even giants. Fall if you know where to hit them. Over the next few hours, more people found the tunnels. By evening, over 200 survivors were hiding underground. They brought terrible news from outside. The aliens had landed. Their ground troops were setting up control points all over the city. They looked like humans, but taller, with gray skin and strange weapons. The aliens put up signs in Korean, Chinese, English, and other languages. The message was simple. Submit or die. Resistance is useless. Obey and live. Most people obeyed. They had seen what happened to those who fought back. The alien weapons turned humans to ash in seconds. Fear controlled the streets now, but not. Everyone was afraid. In the tunnels, Hyunwoo stood before the group of survivors. They think they have won, he said. They think humans will obey like dogs. They do not understand us. What can we do? Someone asked. We are just ordinary people. No, Hyunwoo said. There are no ordinary people. There are only people who have not been pushed far enough yet. These aliens pushed us. Now they will learn what that means. Bora stood beside him. We need to learn about their technology. I can help with that. Taman nodded. And we need to learn how to fight them. I can help with that too. But first, Hyunwoo said, we need to survive. Then we make them sorry they ever found Earth. Outside, the alien ships hung in the sky like dark clouds. They thought they had conquered another world. They thought humans would be like all the other species they had defeated, weak and quick to surrender. They were about to learn they had made a very big mistake. The war for Earth had begun. 6 months had passed since the invasion began. The world above ground looked very different now. The aliens, who called themselves Valdarians, had built metal towers in every major city. These towers watched everything. Anyone who broke their rules disappeared forever. But underground things were changing. Hyunwoo's small group of survivors had grown. What started as 200 scared people hiding in tunnels was now a network of over 3,000 fighters across Seoul. Similar groups were forming in other cities around the world. The resistance had learned to be smart. They did not attack the aliens directly at first. That would be suicide. Instead, they watched and learned. Bora Park had become their most important person. The young scientist spent her days studying pieces of alien technology that the resistance managed to steal. Her small underground laboratory was filled with broken alien devices, stolen weapons, and computer parts. Look at this, Bora said to Hyunwoo one morning. She held up a small gray device that looked like a thick coin. This came from an alien communication unit. I finally figured out how it works. Hyunwoo looked at the device but saw nothing special. What does it do? It talks to other devices like it across huge distances, even across space. But here is the interesting part. It is not very advanced. My old phone from 5 years ago is more complex. That cannot be right, Hyunwoo said. Their ships destroyed our cities in minutes. Bora shook her head. Their weapons are powerful, yes, but their other technology, it is simple, basic. They have a few very strong tools, but most of their equipment is actually behind what we had before the invasion. This was important news. If the aliens were not as advanced as everyone thought, maybe they could be beaten. Taemin Lee entered the laboratory. The former Special Forces soldier looked tired but excited. We got 3 more, he said. 3 alien soldiers captured alive. Where are they? Hyunwoo asked. Safe place. But you need to hear what they told us. The captured aliens were being held in an old subway station deep underground. They were tall and thin, with gray skin and large, dark eyes. When they spoke, their voices sounded like metal scraping metal. Hyunwoo looked at the first prisoner. Why did you attack our world? The alien stared at him with what might have been surprise. You resist, it said in broken English. Others do not resist. You are different. What others? Bora asked. How many worlds have you attacked? Many, the alien said. 200, maybe more. All submit quickly. All accept rule. You do not accept. Taemin stepped forward. How many soldiers do you have on Earth? The alien was quiet for a long time. Then it said, Not many. We do not need many. Other worlds submit after demonstration. But you... It made a sound that might have been confusion. You fight more when hurt. This is not normal. Hyunwoo felt something like hope growing in his chest. You expected us to give up after the first attack? Yes, always works. Show power, others surrender. Simple. But we did not surrender. No. You hide. You learn. You steal our weapons. You are... The alien searched for the right word. Dangerous. Later, away from the prisoners, the three leaders talked about what they had learned. They are bullies, Taemin said. They win by scaring people, not by being stronger. And they do not have many soldiers here, Bora added. If they did, they would not need to rely on fear so much. Hyunwoo nodded. We need to tell the other resistance groups about this, all of them. That was easier said than done. The aliens controlled most communications. Radio signals were blocked. The internet was shut down. Phone networks were destroyed. How could resistance groups in different cities talk to each other? Bora had an answer. I have been working on something, she said. She led them to another, part of her laboratory. On a table sat a device that looked like several alien communication units connected together. Remember how their communicators work across space? I modified 3 of them to create a network. Will it work? Hyunwoo asked. Let us find out. Bora turned on the device. Static filled the air. Then, slowly, voices came through. Hello? Is anyone there? This is the London Resistance. Tokyo Resistance here, we can hear you. New York survivors calling. We thought we were alone. Soon, voices from dozens of cities around the world were talking to each other. Resistance leaders shared information, plans, and hope. For the first time since the invasion, humans could work together again. The global network brought amazing news. Everywhere, humans were fighting back in small ways. In Mumbai, fighters had learned to jam alien sensors. In Cairo, they had figured out how to make alien weapons explode. In São Paulo, they had found a way to make the aliens' transport vehicles crash. But the best news came from an unexpected place. This is So Young Choi in Busan, a woman's voice said over the communication network. I used to build aircraft, engines. I have something important to share. So Young had been studying a crashed alien transport ship for months. What she found changed everything. Their ships are not as strong as they look, she reported. The metal looks tough, but it has a weakness. If you hit it with the right frequency of sound, it becomes brittle like glass. Sound? Hyunwoo asked. You mean noise? Yes, very specific noise. I can show other engineers how to build devices that make this sound. Their ships and weapons will break apart. Within weeks, resistance groups around the world were building So Young's sound weapons. They were simple devices, much simpler than the alien technology. But they worked. The first real victory came in Berlin. A team of German resistance fighters used the sound weapons to attack an alien patrol. The aliens' armor cracked and fell apart. Their weapons stopped working. For the first time since the invasion began, humans killed alien soldiers in open combat. News of the victory spread through the resistance network like fire. If aliens could be killed in Berlin, they could be killed everywhere. But the aliens noticed too. They are learning. one of the prisoners told Hyunwoo during another questioning session. Command is concerned. You adapt too quickly. This has never happened before. Good, Taemin said. Let them be concerned. The alien looked at him with those large, dark eyes. You do not understand. When the Empire is concerned, it sends more ships, much bigger ships, ships that can burn your entire world. Then we better learn to fight those too, Hyunwoo said. By the end of the 6th month, the resistance had grown into something the aliens had never faced before. It was not just a few fighters hiding in tunnels anymore. It was a global network of millions of humans working together. They had learned to steal alien technology and make it work for them. They had learned to build weapons that could hurt the aliens. They had learned to communicate across the world without the aliens knowing. Most importantly, they had learned that the aliens could be beaten. In her laboratory, Bo-Ra worked on her most ambitious project yet. She was trying to understand how the alien ships traveled between stars. If humans could learn that secret, they could take the fight beyond Earth. Taemin trained new fighters every day. Men and women who had been shopkeepers, teachers, and office workers were becoming soldiers. They learned to move silently, strike quickly, and disappear before the aliens could respond. And Hyunwoo coordinated it all. The former soldier had become the leader of Earth's resistance. Every day he made decisions that affected millions of people. It was a heavy responsibility, but he carried it gladly. The aliens had made one crucial mistake when they invaded Earth. They thought humans would be like all the other species they had conquered, quick to surrender and easy to control. Instead, they had given humanity a common enemy and a reason to unite. For the first time in history, every human on Earth was working toward the same goal. The hunters had become the hunted, and the aliens were starting to realize they might have bitten off more than they could chew. 2 years after the invasion began, everything had changed. The aliens no longer walked the streets of human cities like they owned them. Instead, they moved in groups, always watching the shadows, always afraid. The humans had learned to hunt. Dong-hyun, Lim stood on the bridge of what used to be an alien transport ship. The former airline pilot had never imagined he would captain a spacecraft, but war changes everything. His crew of 12 humans had captured this ship 3 months ago during a raid on an alien supply depot. "Target ahead," called out Yejin Seo from her position at the computer station. The young woman had been a programmer before the invasion. Now she was the best hacker in the resistance, able to break into alien systems like they were children's toys. Through the front window, Dong-hyun could see another alien ship. It was carrying supplies to the Valdarian forces on Mars. The aliens had bases on several planets in Earth's solar system now, but that was about to change. "Are you sure their sensors cannot see us?" Dong-hyun asked. "Positive," Yejin replied. "I am using their own stealth technology against them. To their sensors, we look like empty space." This was how humans fought now. They used alien weapons, alien ships, alien technology, but they used them better than the aliens did. Humans were creative in ways the Valdarians could not understand. "Attack speed," Dong-hyun ordered. The captured ship moved forward silently. The alien crew on the supply ship had no idea death was coming for them. They were used to being the hunters. They had forgotten what it felt like to be prey. The attack was over in minutes. The human-controlled ship used sound weapons to crack the alien hull, then boarded through the holes. The alien crew surrendered without much fight. They were not prepared for humans who fought like devils. This scene was happening all across the solar system. Human raiders attacked alien supply lines. Human ships struck alien bases on the moon and asteroids. The aliens who had once dominated space now feared to travel alone. Back on Earth, the resistance had grown into something that no longer needed to hide underground. Entire cities were now under human control again. The aliens held only a few, heavily defended positions, and even those were under constant attack. In Seoul, Hyunwoo Kim stood in what used to be the Alien Command Center. The building was human-controlled now, turned into the headquarters of the Global Resistance Council. Representatives from every continent met here to plan the war. "Report from the Jupiter mission," said Woo Jin Nam, reading from a datapad. The logistics expert had once managed shipping routes for a large company. Now he managed supply lines that stretched across the solar system. Our forces successfully captured the alien mining station on Europa, Wu Jin continued. We now have access to their advanced materials and 3 more ships. What about casualties? Hyun-woo asked. Light, 15 wounded. No deaths. The aliens surrendered when they realized they were surrounded. This was happening more and more. Alien soldiers were giving up without a fight. Their confidence was broken. The species that had conquered 200 worlds was learning what it meant to be afraid, but the best news came from beyond the solar system. We are receiving messages. From the Centauri system, Bora Park announced. She had built communication devices that could send signals between star systems. The rebellion is spreading. On the main screen, a fuzzy image appeared. It showed creatures that looked like walking trees, with bark-like skin and leaves for hair. They were the Salathi, one of the first species the Valdarians had conquered. Humans of Earth, the creature spoke in translated text at the bottom of the screen. We have heard of your resistance. Your courage has inspired us. We too fight against the Empire now. Similar messages came from other star systems. The Korthani, who looked like giant insects, had started attacking Valdarian ships in their home system. The Zepath, small blue creatures with 4 arms, had reclaimed 3 of their planets. How many species are rebelling now? Hyun-woo asked. 47 confirmed, Bora replied. Maybe more. The Empire is fighting wars on dozens of fronts. The aliens had made a critical mistake. By attacking Earth first, they had shown the galaxy that the mighty Valdarian Empire could be beaten. Every species that had been conquered and enslaved now saw hope. On the alien homeworld of Valdris, Admiral Kekstar stood before the High Council. The tall gray alien was no longer the confident conqueror who had led the invasion of Earth. His shoulders were bent with defeat. The situation grows worse each day, he reported. The humans have spread their rebellion to 47 worlds. Our forces are stretched too thin. We are losing ships faster than we can build them. How is this possible? Demanded Council Leader Vexmore. They are primitives. Their technology was centuries behind ours. Was, Kekstar said bitterly. They learn quickly. Too quickly. They take our weapons and make them better. They use our own tactics against us, and they never give up. Ever. What do you recommend? Kekstar straightened his shoulders. Gather every ship in the Empire. Everything we have. Launch one final attack on Earth. Destroy the planet completely. When the other rebels see their inspiration burned to ash, they will surrender. The council was quiet for a long moment. Then Vexmore nodded. Do it. Bring every ship. Leave nothing to chance. Back, on Earth, human sensors detected the massive alien fleet while it was still months away. It was the largest space armada ever assembled, over 10,000 ships of various sizes all heading for Earth. They are bringing everything, Yejin reported during an emergency council meeting. Every ship in their empire. How long do we have? Hyun-woo asked. 4 months, maybe 5. The room was quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The aliens were coming to finish what they started. This would be the final battle. We cannot match them ship for ship, Taemin Lee said. The Special Forces veteran had been promoted to head of military operations. 10,000 ships against our few hundred? It is impossible. No, Hyun-woo said firmly. Not impossible. Difficult, yes. But we have advantages they do not expect, such as we know they are coming. We have time to prepare. And we are not fighting alone. Over the next week, messages went out across the galaxy. Every species in rebellion received the same communication. The Empire brings all its ships to destroy Earth. If Earth falls, the rebellion dies. Help us and we help you. Together we can end the Empire forever. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The Salathi sent their tree-like bioships, grown rather than built. The Korthani contributed their insect swarms that could tear apart metal with their claws. The Zepath offered their tiny but incredibly fast fighters. Dozens of other species promised ships, weapons, or fighters. How many Allied ships will we have? Hyunwoo asked. Bo-ra checked her calculations. If everyone keeps their promises, about 8,000 ships of various types. Still outnumbered, Taemin observed. Yes, but we will be fighting on our home ground. We know every asteroid, every moon, every piece of space debris in this system. They do not. Dong-hyun, who had become the commander of the human space fleet, nodded. We can use that. Hit-and-run tactics. Use the asteroids for cover. Make them chase us through spaces where their big ships cannot follow. And we have one more advantage, Bo-ra added with a smile. We have been studying their technology for 3 years. I think I know how to turn their own weapons against them. Preparations began immediately. Every human ship was modified with the latest improvements. New weapons were built using alien technology. The moon was turned into a fortress, its surface covered with defensive weapons. Most importantly, Earth's defenders were not just human anymore. Silathi bioengineers worked alongside human technicians. Korthani warriors trained with human soldiers. Z-Path pilots learned human tactics. For the first time in galactic history, dozens of different species were working together as equals. The Empire had ruled through division and fear. The rebellion was united by hope and friendship. Admiral Kekstar's fleet continued its journey toward Earth, confident that overwhelming numbers would bring victory. The Admiral did not know that he was not just facing one small planet anymore. He was facing the entire galaxy, and the galaxy was angry. The alien fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system, like a dark cloud covering the stars. 10,000 ships of different sizes stretched across space for millions of miles. It was the largest military force ever assembled in Galactic history. Admiral Kekstar stood on the bridge of his flagship, a massive dreadnought the size of a small city. Through the viewing ports he could see his armada spreading out in attack formation. Every ship in the Valdarian Empire was here. Every soldier, every weapon, every piece of technology they possessed. Final scan of the Earth system, he ordered. His sensors officer worked at the controls. 8,000 enemy ships detected, Admiral. Mixed species. They are spread throughout the asteroid belt and around the outer planets. Only 8,000, Kekstar said with satisfaction. We outnumber them. This ends today. But the Admiral did not know what the humans had been planning. Far away, hidden behind Jupiter's largest moon, Hyunwoo Kim sat in the command center of the Allied fleet. The room was filled with beings from dozens of different worlds. Silathi tree people worked beside insect-like Korthani. Small blue Z-Path operated computers next to human technicians. Enemy fleet is moving into the inner system, reported In-ho Kang, the former defense contractor who now designed weapons for the Alliance. They are coming straight at us just like we hoped. All ships, this is Commander Kim, Hyunwoo spoke into his communication device. Execute plan asteroid. Across the solar system, the Allied fleet began to move. But they did not move toward the enemy. Instead, they moved deeper into the asteroid belt, hiding behind the floating rocks. The alien fleet followed, eager to finish the fight quickly. Their ships were powerful and well-armed. They expected to crush the rebellion in a few hours. That was their first mistake. Now, Hyunwoo whispered. Suddenly, the asteroids came alive. What the aliens thought were just floating rocks were actually hollowed-out bases filled with weapons. Gunji Kim, the strategic coordinator, had spent months turning the asteroid belt into a giant trap. Thousands of missiles launched from hidden positions. Energy beams shot out from concealed weapons platforms. The alien fleet found itself under attack from every direction at once. Ambush, shouted the sensors officer on Kekstar's ship. The asteroids are armed. Impossible, Kekstar snarled. Destroy them all. The alien ships fired back, their powerful weapons turning asteroids to dust. But for every asteroid they destroyed, 10 more revealed hidden weapons. The humans and their allies had been preparing for this battle for months. But the aliens had more ships and bigger guns. Slowly, they began to push through the asteroid field. Allied ships were destroyed one by one. It looked like the Empire might win through sheer numbers. Then the second part of the plan began. All human ships, this is Captain Dong-hyun, came a voice over the communications. Time for Phase 2. From behind Mars, a group of human-controlled, alien ships appeared. But these ships looked different. Their hulls had been modified with human technology. Their weapons had been upgraded with captured alien equipment. Leading them was Dong Hyun's flagship, the former alien vessel he had captured years ago. But now it barely looked like an alien ship at all. Human engineers had rebuilt it from the inside out. Target their command ships, Dong Hyun ordered. Cut off their head. The modified ships moved with a speed and grace that surprised the aliens. Human pilots flew them like they were born to it, using tactics the aliens had never seen before. Sung-ho Park, the former astronaut who now led the human space fleet, piloted his fighter through the alien formation like a dancer. His ship twisted and turned between the massive enemy vessels, too small and fast for their big guns to target. Their shields are down on the third command ship, Ye-jin reported from her position. She had hacked into the alien communication network and was disrupting their coordination. Strike now! A group of Korthani insect ships swarmed the alien command vessel. Their natural ability to work as a hive mind made them perfect for coordinated attacks. Within minutes, the alien ship was destroyed, but Admiral Kekstar's flagship was still fighting. The massive dreadnought pushed through the Allied defenses, heading straight for Earth. Its weapons were powerful enough to crack a planet. "We cannot let that ship reach Earth," Hyunwoo said. "I will stop it," said a new voice. It was Tae-min Lee, speaking from a small fighter ship. The Special Forces veteran had volunteered for the most dangerous mission of all, a direct attack on the enemy flagship. "Tae-min, no," Hyunwoo said. "That ship is too big. You cannot damage it enough." "I do not need to damage it," Tae-min replied. "I just need to get inside." Before anyone could stop him, Tae-min's fighter shot toward the massive alien ship. Enemy weapons fired at him from all directions. His ship was hit again and again, pieces of metal flying off into space. But Tae-min had been the best Special Forces soldier in the Korean military. He knew how to get into places where he was not wanted. His damaged fighter crashed into the alien ship's hangar bay. The ship's defenders rushed to stop him, but Tae-min was already moving. He fought his way through the corridors, using captured, alien weapons and his own skills. His target was the ship's power core. If he could overload it, the entire vessel would be destroyed. On the bridge, Admiral Kekstar received reports of the human intruder. "One soldier? One human is causing all this trouble?" "Yes, Admiral, he has reached the engine section. Our guards cannot stop him." Kekstar felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear. Not fear of death, but fear of failure. If his flagship was destroyed, the Empire's attack would collapse. "Send every soldier on the ship," he ordered. "Kill the human." But it was too late. In the engine room, Tae-min had reached the power core. The massive device hummed with energy that could power a small city. All around him, alien soldiers were breaking down the doors. Tae-min looked at the communication device on his wrist. "Hyunwoo, can you hear me?" "I hear you, old friend. Tell my family I did my duty. Tell Earth we kept our promise. Tae-min, do not." The explosion could be seen from Earth. Admiral Kekstar's flagship, the pride of the Valdarian fleet, vanished in a ball of fire that lit up space like a new star. With their flagship gone and their admiral dead, the alien fleet began to fall apart. Ships that had fought together for centuries now had no coordination. Some tried to retreat. Others fought on alone. The Allied fleet pressed their advantage. Salathi bioships wrapped around alien vessels like giant vines, crushing them slowly. Z-Path fighters darted between the enemy ships like angry bees, striking weak points with precise attacks. But the battle was not over yet. A second group of alien ships, led by Vice Admiral Mordak, regrouped near Saturn. They were preparing for one final attack on Earth itself. "They are going to try to destroy the planet," Bora Park warned from her monitoring station. "Their remaining ships have enough firepower to crack Earth's crust." "Not if we stop them first," Hyunwoo said. He looked around the command center at all the different species working together. "All ships, all species, this is our final push. For Earth, for freedom, for the future." The Allied fleet charged toward the remaining alien ships. It was a desperate race. Could they stop the aliens before Earth was destroyed? In space, ships from dozens of worlds fought side by side. Humans and aliens who had been enemies just years ago now died for each other. The battle raged around Saturn's rings, turning the beautiful ice crystals red with the light of explosions. Vice Admiral Mordak's ship broke through the Allied lines. He was heading straight for Earth, his planet-killing weapons charging for the final shot. 50 seconds to firing range, his weapons officer reported. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. But then from behind Earth's moon came one final surprise. A massive space station, built in secret over the past year, revealed itself. It was covered with weapons designed by human engineers using alien technology. The station fired a single, perfectly aimed shot. The beam struck Mordak's ship just as it was about to fire on Earth. The alien vessel exploded in a cascade of light. The battle for Earth was over. The Valdarian Empire's final gamble had failed. In the silence that followed, Hyunwoo looked out at the debris floating in space. Thousands of ships from both sides were gone. Brave beings from many worlds had died to make this victory possible. But they had won. The empire that had conquered 200 worlds had been broken by one small blue planet and its allies. The hunters had finally become the hunted. 3 weeks after the Great Battle, the wreckage of 10,000 ships still floated in space around Earth. Salvage crews worked day and night to clear the debris and rescue survivors from both sides. Yes, both sides. That was the first surprise. Vice Admiral Mordak sat in a small room on the human space station. His hands were not tied. No guards stood at the door. He could walk out any time he wanted, but he did not move. He stared at the human across from him with confusion in his large dark eyes. "You saved my life," Mordak said in his metal-scraping voice. "Why?" Hyunwoo Kim looked tired. The past weeks had been the hardest of his life. Leading the defense of Earth, losing friends like Taimin, making decisions that affected billions of lives. It had aged him years in just days. "Because that is what we do," Hyunwoo answered simply. "We save lives when we can. I tried to destroy your world. I would have killed everyone on your planet. Yes, you would have. But you failed. Now you are here, and you are hurt, so we help you heal." Mordak was quiet for a long time. In his 300 years of life, he had conquered many worlds for the Empire. He had seen cities burn and entire species bow before Valdarian power. But he had never seen anything like this. "What happens to me now?" he asked. "That depends on you," Hyunwoo said. "We are not going to execute you or put you in prison forever. We have a different offer." Outside the station, similar conversations were happening across the solar system. Thousands of Valdarian prisoners were being held in comfortable facilities. They were fed, given medical care, and treated with respect. Most of them had never experienced anything like it. On Earth, the Global Council was meeting to decide the future. Representatives from dozens of worlds sat around a large table. The room buzzed with different languages as species who had been enemies just days ago worked together. Sunmi Lee, the diplomat who had negotiated treaties during the war, stood to address the group. "We have a choice to make," she said. "We can do what the Empire did, rule through fear and force, or we can try something new." Ho-seok Jung, the former professor who now helped coordinate the new government, nodded. "The Empire conquered through destruction, but we won through cooperation. We should not throw that away now." "But they killed billions of our people," said a Korthani representative, clicking his mandibles angrily. "Justice demands punishment." "Justice, yes," agreed Yujin. "Oh, a young human officer who spoke for Earth's military. But what kind of justice? The kind that creates more enemies, or the kind that creates peace?" The debate went on for hours. Some wanted to destroy the Valdarian homeworld as revenge. Others wanted to imprison all enemy soldiers forever. But, slowly, a different idea began to take shape. Back on the space station, Hyunwoo was explaining that idea to Mordak. "We are creating something called the Galactic Federation," Hyunwoo said. Every species gets a voice. Every world gets to choose its own path. No more empires, no more conquest. And the Valdarians? Mordak asked. You get the same choice as everyone else. Join the Federation as equals, or stay isolated on your own worlds. But no more attacks, no more invasions, no more empire. Mordak stared at him. You would trust us? After everything we did? Trust is earned, Hyun-woo said. But everyone deserves a chance to earn it. Even you. The Valdarian was quiet for a long time. Then he said, Most of my people will not understand this offer. We have been conquerors for so long we do not know how to be anything else. Then we will teach you, Hyun-woo said, the same way you taught us to be warriors. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher. News of the Federation's offer spread quickly through the galaxy. The response was mixed. Many species wanted revenge against the Valdarians. They had suffered under the Empire for generations. Why should their oppressors be forgiven? But others remembered how the rebellion had succeeded. It was not through hatred or revenge. It was through cooperation and hope. Bora Park, now the Federation's chief scientist, worked on a special project. She was designing ships that could travel between stars faster than ever before. But these ships were not warships. They were exploration vessels, science ships, rescue craft. If we are going to have peace, she told her team, we need to make it profitable. Show the galaxy that working together brings more benefits than fighting. The first Federation ships launched 6 months after the battle. They carried mixed crews from dozens of species, including some Valdarians who had accepted the offer to join. Their mission was simple: help any world that needed assistance, regardless of who they were or what they had done in the past. The results were amazing. Planets that had been devastated by war began to heal. Species that had been enemies for centuries started working together. Trade routes opened between worlds that had never spoken to each other before. But the real test came when the Federation ships reached the Valdarian homeworld. The planet Valdris was a cold gray world covered with metal cities. For 1,000 years it had been the center of the Empire. Now it was isolated and afraid. The Valdarians expected the Federation to arrive, with weapons and punishment. Instead, the ships brought food, medicine, and engineers. Your cities are damaged from the Civil War after your fleet was destroyed, said Captain Dong-hyun, now commanding a Federation vessel. We can help you rebuild. The Valdarian leaders could not believe it. Why would you help us? We are your enemies. You were our enemies, Dong-hyun corrected. Now you are people who need help. That is all that matters. The work took years. Human engineers worked alongside Valdarian builders. Silathi bioscientists helped create new food sources. Korthani miners extracted resources that both species needed. Slowly, the Valdarians began to change. The younger generation especially embraced the new way of thinking. They had grown up hearing stories of the Empire's glory, but they could see the Federation's prosperity. Yu-jin, now a Federation ambassador, visited a Valdarian school. The children gathered around her, curious about this human who spoke their language. Why did your people not destroy us? Asked a young Valdarian girl. We attacked you first. Yu-jin knelt down to the child's level. Because destroying you would not bring back the people we lost, but helping you might prevent others from losing people in the future. But we were bad, the child said. You were not bad, Yu-jin said gently. Your leaders made bad choices, but you are not your leaders. You get to make your own choices. 10 years after the Great Battle, the galaxy was transformed. The Federation included over 300 worlds. Trade flowed freely between species. Scientific knowledge was shared openly. Wars still happened sometimes, but they were small conflicts, quickly resolved through diplomacy. The Valdarians had become some of the Federation's strongest supporters. Their natural discipline and organizational skills, once used for conquest, now helped coordinate relief efforts and maintain peace. Former Vice Admiral Mordak had become a Federation peacekeeper. He visited worlds in conflict, sharing his story of how enemies could become allies. His metal-scraping voice was now welcome in council chambers across the galaxy. "I spent 300 years bringing war to the galaxy," he would tell audiences. "Now I spend my remaining years trying to bring peace. It is better work." On Earth, an old man sat in a garden in Seoul. Hyun-Woo Kim was 75 now, his hair white and his face lined with years, but his eyes were still sharp as he watched his grandchildren play with their friends. One of the children was human. Another was a young Selathi, her bark-like skin green with health. A third was Valdarian, his gray skin reflecting the sunlight. They played together without thinking about their differences, because to them there were no differences. "Grandfather," his granddaughter asked, running up to him. "Teacher says you helped stop a big war, is that true?" Hyun-Woo smiled. "I helped end a war, yes, but more importantly, we helped start a peace." "How do you start a peace?" The old man looked at the children playing together, human, alien, and everything in between. "You give people a choice," he said. "You can choose to hate, or you can choose to hope. We chose hope." "Was it hard?" "The hardest thing I ever did," Hyun-Woo admitted. "It would have been easier to destroy our enemies, but easy is not always right." That night, as the old soldier looked up at the stars, he could see ships moving between them. Federation vessels carrying people, goods, and ideas to every corner of the galaxy. Some of those ships were crewed by the same species that had once tried to destroy Earth. The Empire had struck Earth first, expecting an easy victory. What they got instead was something they had never imagined, a last chance to become something better than they had ever been before, and they had taken it. The galaxy was finally at peace.